When Toyota released the Toyota Prius hybrid electric vehicle in 1997, it had the attention of the whole world. The Prius went on to sell in millions. The Asian giant also recorded success with its Lexus branded hybrids. Total combined sales is more than 15 million units. Toyota settled for electrifying their ICE models by releasing hybrid versions with no fully electric vehicles bearing any of their logos. While many other traditional automakers competed by announcing plans and big budgets to go electric with self-imposed deadlines, Toyota seemed to be missing in action, a very unusual position for a company that sells the most vehicles in the world. That changed though when Toyota announced its own plans, and it seems the floodgates have been opened. The sleeping giant has awakened, and we are facing an onslaught of EVs carrying Toyota logos. In this video, we shall take a look into what delayed Toyota's response to the second wave of EVs. We'll also examine their product map in great detail. Hi there, it's great to have you again. We have a great show for you today, but before that, here's a quick reminder to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, remember to drop your comments below as we love to hear from you. About Toyota. Toyota needs no introduction. You probably know or work with people that drive one of the millions of cars the company ships out annually. Toyota is popular with car owners for several reasons. For one, Toyota cars are known for reliability and dependability. They're less likely to break down, and when they actually break down, it's not so expensive to repair them. Their parts are common and mechanics that can handle them are everywhere. As a result, they last very long and you can realistically pass them on to your children. In fact, from data samples collected, Toyota owns 10 out of the top 15 vehicles that consumers keep for the longest time. Some of them are the Toyota Highlander, RAV4, 4Runner, and the Land Cruiser, the Prius, Corolla, and the Camry. Toyota also has one of the highest resale values. They rank high on safety ratings. Toyota consistently ranks among the highest on the important ratings. Toyota's business model is to introduce new concepts a little time and improve on them, rather than cramming every imaginable feature into a single model. This may mean a slower pace of development, but it allows the company to have clarity in its product map. With all these things considered, it's no surprise that Toyota has consumer confidence. So what could have delayed Toyota's response to the EV Revolution 2.0? After the Prius was introduced, it was logical to expect a proper battery electric vehicle to follow, but that wasn't happening. As promised, we'll attempt to unravel the reason for it in this show. At the 2019 Geneva Auto Show, before the coronavirus, Gerald Kilman, the VP of R&D in Toyota in Europe, explained why. It was basically a matter of allocating resources available to the company. Toyota may be one of the biggest companies in the world, but they have constraints too. The biggest culprit was the battery. Kilman explained that Toyota could either make 28,000 BEVs or 1.5 hybrids per year. Rather than do a mix, Toyota settled for the latter, with reasons that are not unscientific. Toyota believed that putting 1.5 million hybrids on the road will help cut down emission by a third more than selling 28,000 electric vehicles. How the company arrived at that conclusion is not publicized, but they believed they were having a more positive impact on the environment in that way. But battery isn't the only issue Toyota had with BEVs. It seems HQ was just not open to the idea, or better still, wanted to play the waiting game. Remember, Toyota isn't the gambling type. This cannot be made clearer than by one of Toyota's ads that shows a future model moving past historical cars. The car moved past an EV driver who was not happy to sit near a charger and watch his car take a long time to charge. At any rate, we have the CEO on record claiming the trend towards electric vehicles are overhyped because they are charged with power produced at plants that release emissions, a stance often promoted by players in the oil and gas industry. The main point, however, is that Toyota spent its time and resources chasing models using hydrogen fuel cell and hybrid powertrains. A new Toyota, the turn to BEVs. Apparently, news has finally got to Toyota HQ that BEVs are the future of mobility, and the thinking has changed a bit. After seeing Tesla make a killing, Toyota has sat up and is now ready to embrace the battery electric vehicle. Like the big gun Toyota is, it is coming with guns blazing to claim the top spot. It has a product map in that category that spans at least 5 years, and that is what we are going over right now. The BEV plan starts in 2020 and has stated goals to meet by 2025. By that year, the world would have welcomed 15 new EVs from the Japanese automaker. That is basically a new Toyota EV per year. All in all, Toyota will release 70 models using fuels other than from fossil sources. We're focusing on the battery electric models in this update. What branding will the new EVs get? That will probably be the BZ. We could end up with BZ1, BZ2, BZ3, BZ4, BZ4X, BZ5, etc. Some sharp folks have noticed the similarity between this naming method and Kia's own, but Toyota has filed trademarks for the BZ branding, so they're serious about it. Other electric vehicles not covered in this naming scheme will likely be electrified versions of existing models. The BZ4Z may be the branding for the EVs that will have all-wheel drive and dual electric motors. But the BZ stands for Beyond Zero, meaning the cars will produce zero emissions. Now that we got the issue of branding out of the way, what do the electric cars actually look like? The BZ4Z. The first one we know of is the compact BZ4X that was displayed at the Shanghai Auto Show. We were able to get some info about the EV even though it has the markings of a concept. We do know the BZ4X will be released in China and Japan later this year and globally in 2022. Roughly the size of the RAV4, it is a tall riding crossover that takes design cues from the Prius and Mirai models. It will use a dual motor system with some off-roading abilities. Toyota is building it on a platform it developed in conjunction with Subaru. Strange bedfellows, you may say, but Toyota is a small part owner in Subaru called the e-Tinga. Subaru is developing its own electric model in parallel. The e-Tinga is a flexible platform that will allow Toyota to build different models fast and less costly. It already has many of the features found in EVs and more, including all-wheel drive, improved visibility, and regenerative braking systems that helps extend EV batteries when the driver lifts their foot from the accelerator. One interesting feature made possible by the e-Tinga platform is steer-by-wire, which means the steering wheel is not connected directly to the front wheels. Rather, electronic signals from the steering wheel determine the degree of turning. This has the advantage of smoothing out possible interference from road conditions. Other promised features include solar charging capabilities for topping up the battery on sunny days. Inside the BZ4X is the usual assortment of instrument cluster that is set back noticeably and an infotainment screen which looks like it's floating. We also see physical buttons here and there, showing Toyota is not going fully digital yet. We see a joke instead of the conventional driving wheel, but as this appears to be a concept, we don't know if it will make it into production or how Toyota is going to deal with regulations in some countries. The cabin will take 5 passengers comfortably. Toyota is aiming for a space that is conducive for quality family and friends time. The wrap-up. Now that Toyota has finally woken to the reality of electric vehicles, it has literally turned the fire hose on us. The auto giant has committed to more than 70 models using some form of non-fossil fuel by 2025. 15 out of that number will be BEVs, and we have seen the pioneer in the BZ4X model showcased in Shanghai. We'll surely get more details on the other models down the line. We are excited to see Toyota enter the EV fray as it has the resources to have an impact. We will definitely follow Toyota and give you regular updates, only if you stick to this channel. It's been nice hanging out with you in this episode. We hope to see you around again. But before you go, what are your thoughts on Toyota's plans? Do you think it's a little too late? Would you buy a Toyota EV? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments section. Also, remember to give us a follow and a like. Thanks for watching.